Welcome to Spark Starter, the podcast dedicated to sharing stories that ignite female entrepreneurs into action. I'm your host, Elizabeth Goede, and I'm here to fan the flame of your entrepreneurial spirit. Each week, we bring to you the inspiring stories of women trailblazers from around the world who have sparked change in their industries, powered their ideas into thriving businesses, and pioneered their way to success. So, whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a startup enthusiast, or a seasoned business leader, join us as we delve into the journeys of these incredible women whose tales will surely ignite a spark in each one of us. Join me in welcoming Colleen McCartney, the innovative founder of Nerdly. Colleen's journey is a testament to the power of adaptability and vision in entrepreneurship. From her roots in competitive Irish step dancing to her current role as a tech empowerment guru, Colleen has consistently pushed boundaries and redefined success. As the driving force behind Nerdly, Colleen combines SaaS solutions, personalized support, and comprehensive training to simplify technology for both individual businesses and agencies. Her unique approach, born from years of experience in IT and marketing, has positioned her as a go-to expert for entrepreneurs seeking to harness the full potential of digital tools. But Colleen's experience extends far beyond the tech world. Her diverse background includes building a top-tier health and wellness network marketing business, speaking at events up and down the East Coast, and even a stint as a professional mermaid. Colleen's holistic approach to business success, emphasizing the importance of nurturing the mind, body, and business, is a fresh perspective of tech integration and entrepreneurial growth. Colleen, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here on the podcast today.
I'm so excited to be here with you. It's been so fun getting to know you over the years and just seeing all the awesome stuff that you do.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's so nice. So, Colleen, I couldn't help myself. I had to talk about the mermaid piece because I find that to be absolutely fascinating. And I found out about that not that long ago, actually. So, can you tell us a little bit about, how you got to be a professional mermaid and also sort of where you took that love?
So I was actually at Dragon Con. It was a cosplay convention in Atlanta. And me and my friends I was Ursula, my girlfriend was Ariel, and the other one was Mira from Aquaman. And we were walking through the hotel, and there was people in the pool in mermaid tails swimming. And I lost my mind. I had never seen it before. I was like, became obsessed. And then I had a trip to the Caribbean coming up, so I got myself a tail, and it was done. I was in. I was like, I'm committed to this. This is magical. So when I came back home, struggled to find a pool that would allow me to, and I ended up going to swim in my gym. Started posting, just on social for funsies, and started finding friends that would want to come out with me. And I eventually found a larger pool, and we just started posting. And more people started coming to the point we ended up making a Facebook group. Shocker, Facebook groups is where everything begins. And so then we ended up creating the largest pod, which is basically like, a group of merfolk in the US. And we eventually called Metro Merfolk. And then eventually we ended up launching a convention, which was so much fun. And it was so great just seeing so many people get out, feel accepted, and get to really embrace creativity and fitness and like create friendships at the same time.
Well, and I think you're being like a little coy here because you actually launched the world's largest mermaid convention.
Yeah, we had our headliner was the Singapore Mermaid. So she flew out from Singapore. We had people and vendors coming from Hawaii, from all sorts of different countries. One of my best friends is one of the top tier PR folks in the DC area. So we actually had publications in, I think, like 6 different countries, which was bananas, just seeing them talking about us in like some German magazine. So I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying. But now we have AI that will translate it for us. And it was really cool. And So what's really great is to see that it's has actually inspired multiple other conventions and larger meetups to take place. And I was actually talking to one of the merfolk that I didn't realize I inspired her to actually get into it. And she was like, you were the catalyst for the mermaid community on the Eastern Seaboard. I was like, I didn't even realize that. I was just like, I'm having fun. And I got to be like a director and be able to direct folks underwater so that I could get good content. And then I learned that video editing in my skill set, extremely time consuming, because I was like, I'm a Virgo, right? It's gotta get perfect. I'm like, no, I want this clip and then this sound. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm really excited to say that, the community has nurtured itself. And now it's a community-driven community. So we've got different folks doing different things instead of it being a one-woman show, which was exhausting. And now we have different MERS that are teaching classes in pools, some that are teaching, like, if you want to go out and do this professionally, and a bunch that are just like, let's just go hang out and swim.
Yeah, I love that so much. And what I loved about your intro, right, is like we covered sort of like this large range, right? We've got the health and wellness side of like network marketing, we have the tech side, we've got the I mean, I guess the mermaid really fits into that sort of health and wellness side of things.
Well, I mean, I ended up making my own line of mermaid inspired roller blends, and one of the crowd pleaser was gilly oil. And it was really because, like, when you're swimming all the time, like, you have a high risk of sinus infections, ear infections, and because you're flooding your sinus cavities with pool water, and we're gonna leave it as pool water. And so my friends, everyone that used it really enjoyed it. They loved how it made them feel. And honestly, I got one of the reasons I was so focused on mermaiding was to make, scroll stopping content so I can promote my health and wellness business. And because it was fitness, it was focused on taking care of yourself. So I always find some way to connect one thing to the other. And it was a super fun time.
Yeah. So where does the tech side of things come in? So at what point, did that bookend this, or was it, you sort of did the health and wellness side and then you went into
So I was in tech before I was in health and wellness. Back in early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s was not exactly the greatest time for women in tech. And, didn't even realize the environments I was in until after I was out of the office. And I was like, oh, that's what that is. Cool.
Right.
Cool. And then when I got into the health and wellness, I was building out funnels and like 52-week educational series. I didn't realize that that's not what people typically do as network marketers. And however, like, to me, I was like, well, I want to educate people about this, right? I'm a singular human being, right? And if I'm talking to hundreds and thousands of people, how can I provide them with the experience I want them to have, right? Like, as much as I was growing a business, I was focused on education and actually helping people because I knew I had such a transformational experience about something that I had never heard of, right? And so I wanted to make sure they had access to these resources, that they were getting the experience I wanted them to have. And I'm also neurospicy. And if you don't know the term, that means neurodivergent. I got that autism ADHD combo platter. And while I know what I want my customer to experience, I also know that I'm not going to be able to personally be able to manually deliver that experience each and every time without fail, because I am in fact a human. And there's only so much that I can hold in my brain. There's, names. Just even remembering someone's name can be really hard. I know I've got some face blind friends, and they're like, yeah, no, I need like super defining things about someone that has nothing to do with their face. I'm like, that's rough. So being able to curate these systems so that I know that, whether it's they signed up through me, they signed up through one of my teammates who is even newer than I am, like I can't put that expectation on them, right? Like that's asking a whole lot, because I dove headfirst. Like I got holistic health coach certifications. I got all sorts of certifications because I was like, how am I in my 20s and I've never heard of this? This has never been a thing in my world. I was always, I was raised very, I think the word's allopathic, where it's just, if you're sick, you go to the doctor, they give you meds, you move on, right? There was no like, hey, food is medicine. Hey, self-care. Hey, like what are we doing with our whole body? So I wanted to make sure people got connected. And I even, fast forward a bit, I even partnered with a retired nurse and a veterinarian to create educational program for modules for my clients, because as much as I could tell them like how things work, it's totally different when you have the fancy letters after your name, right? Plus that also allowed me and my team to focus on just building the relationship with the people, right? Because we don't need to be the source of all information. Right. And that's,
yeah. So Colleen, I totally agree. And just to sort of, bring all of our listeners along with us. So you touched on one thing a few minutes ago, but I want to circle back to it. You said like in the late 90s and early 2000s, you sort of started in the tech space, and, that wasn't like a place for women. I would argue to say that I think we're still fighting really hard for it to be.
No, it's not. It's not a whole lot better now.
And so to put that in perspective, I mean, you were certainly a minority, of working in that industry. And so from that perspective, you build this incredible mindset and background. You go into the health and wellness industry and you're like, listen, I'm going to support myself and build out all of these tools that help me, help my team, help my customer base using that tech knowledge. So at what point did you actually dovetail that in and start and found Nerdly?
I actually didn't even, I think Nerdly really started maybe 3-4 years ago. Like I didn't even realize at the time that I was basically launching my own agency back in network marketing. I had no idea. And that's the thing, like when you work at home, you don't have context. You don't have these kind of conversations to your, oh, that's an agency. What's an agency? Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many, I used to lose jobs because I didn't know key terms like above the fold. Right. Well, obviously you're going to put the button and things you want them to do at the top of the screen. Like that's just common sense. Like, why are we above the fold? That's newspaper. I've never gotten a newspaper in my life. And so while I was in network marketing, I got introduced to a coach. And so when I started working with them, they really focused on processes. And so they were teaching on a platform called Streak back in the day. It lives inside Gmail. It is not worth nothing anymore. And so I started doing tech support there, and it just started building because I didn't realize that everyone didn't just get tech. Sure. Because you put me in a platform and within like an hour, I'm good. I'm good to go. Right. So I just didn't realize that was not a thing that was normal for everybody. Right. So I started growing that out. And then things really took off when I stepped into running the help desk for Group Track and just having a lot more exposure and just seeing, it was really just getting more context around what it was I was already doing, because I was already doing incredible things.
Right. And just to clarify, Group Track was basically sort of a social CRM system. So it allows you to sort of track that internally. And so what you were discovering is that your sort of superpower was that you could dig into these tools, figure out how to sort of, for lack of a better way to describe it, exploit them, right? Like get them to work hard for you and then systematize it, right? Like how do you set it up to make things easy for other people that are repeatable, right? And so based on sort of how you think and how your brain works, you're like, listen, I want to make sure that like this is automated. It's like it's doing as much as it can for you so that you don't have to put all that taxing pressure on your mind.
Yeah,
Is
like
that
I
what?
want, if my customer clicks a button, my customer says a word, I want my system to be able to act on my behalf based on like what are we trying to have them experience, right? Like if a customer has to wait for me to manually respond to everything, like that's bananas. Like that's just not
Right.
realistic. You can't actually grow a scalable business if you are dependent on manual interactions.
Exactly.
It's just
Exactly.
not, it's not possible. And oh, okay, let me take that back. It is possible. However, you will go into burnout city so fast and you may just, it's really hard to get your mojo back after burnouts, right?
Yeah, 100% it is.
Uh,
And one of the things that I know I didn't talk about in your intro, but is certainly something I'd love to talk about now, which is you actually have 6 tech mistakes that entrepreneurs are making that actually hold them back, right? They keep them, I
mhm.
think your exact words are stuck, small, and scattered. So what are those top 6 tech mistakes that you think entrepreneurs make? I think you started to allude to them now.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is, you have to have a tech strategy, right?
Mm,
So many people will overcomplicate their tech stacks by going on to 1,000 different platforms because, oh, this really fancy person said that I should use this tool. Well, now you're going to go learn this tool and then it may not integrate with what you're already using. And if your tools can't talk to each other, then
right.
I mean, I just straight up won't use it. If I don't have access to be able to integrate, then that is a hard stop because
Yeah.
it's just not realistic, right? And simplifying your tech stack, trying to find like an all-in-one, something where your systems can actually talk to each other, that your calendar can talk to your course, that your
Right.
course can talk to your payment processor, right? And you would think that all platforms can do that. And
Right.
I'm unfortunately here to tell you that you'd be wrong. Like
Right.
I just had a client who's on Thinkific. I didn't
Mm.
realize they have contact limits, like hard contact limits. Yeah, it blew my
Really?
mind. So
Wow.
there's just things you don't realize until it may be too late, right? And migrating your whole system is a process.
Right.
It's a process. So trying to make sure, I know when you're starting out, it's really keen to bootstrap it. Like, how cheap can I run this? Like,
Yeah.
what is the least thing I could do? And if you're really trying to grow a business, that's not the mindset you need. What you want to do is think about what is going to provide me a holistic solution,
Mm.
right? Because I got to tell you, I use tools that I barely use, mainly so that it has the data, so that when I'm ready, I can analyze it and look back. And that's another one is leveraging whatever tools you're using. You need to be able to look at the data,
Mm.
because just because you felt good about this funnel build or this course launch,
Mm.
if you don't have the numbers, there's a line my coach said, math doesn't have feelings.
You're right.
Look at the math. The math will not lie to you, especially as a neurospicy and I'm an empath. Like emotions will lie to you all day long. They will make you feel really good about things that may or may not actually be giving you the return on your investment that you think.
Right.
Neglecting automations. There are a lot of people that are afraid of things like automation and
Mm.
AI. And, automation is really your secret weapon to reclaiming your time and energy, right?
Right.
Because repetitive tasks, like I will just not do it. Like there's part of the reason that our growth has been slow and steady is because I hate doing repetitive tasks. And, I'd rather be slow and steady and that all our clients are getting the top level delivery and sometimes on our side, our marketing isn't always the best because I'm focused on delivering to our clients and making sure our onboarding works. And, actually, onboarding is one of the biggest things. And we're actually having a new program rollout next week. We're starting our
Oh,
second
fantastic.
cohort.
Okay.
And it is the automated onboarding advantage
Mm.
because so many people miss that, right? Like,
Right.
what do they need to follow a social channel Do they need to join a group chat? Do they need to access a program? Do you have an affiliate program with your offer? Do you need to make sure that they get adopted into that? Like all these little things, like how do they ask you a question? Because I tell you, if you do not prescribe, this is how you ask a question, I guarantee you're going to get text messages, Facebook DMs, they're going to message your page, they're going to send you an email, they're going to hit you up in every way that you may not even realize they know how to do. They will find a way, and then all of a sudden you're like inundated with messages. So again, that comes, just making sure they know, like, what are your processes?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think technology, again, it's a little bit because it's been sort of that very closed circle, right? Where a lot of women haven't been able to break into that circle. And because it hasn't been intuitive for us to break into that circle, it sometimes is that thing that we have blinders on for, right? We don't really know where to go with it. We are fearful of it. That I'm a huge supporter in making sure that women are using artificial intelligence. And in the primary reason I think why women don't use artificial intelligence is a little bit like why they're slow to sometimes adopt into technology, which is, we're naturally more cautious in those spaces, right? Like just in life, we're a little bit more cautious. We're also usually the decision makers for our families, right? We're the protectors of our family. So, you worry about like how that works with children or how that works with, anyone else that we're working with. And so from your standpoint, what I really hope that listeners are taking away from today is the fact that automation actually helps make sure that things aren't falling outside, right? It's like plugging the holes of a leaky bucket. And also from that perspective, it also helps sort of like, and I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth, but it also sort of helps with those things that maybe are not our strong suits. The things that we don't want to do, we can actually use automations and funnels and things like that to actually sort of like solve those loops for us.
Who likes having sales conversations for low ticket products? I don't. What's really great for low ticket products? Creating a funnel with automated emails and text messages to drive them to the next step and make sure that they're actually able to see the words you want. They're able to have like a video sales letter, aka a VSL. If you don't know what that is, it's all sorts of abbreviations that'll throw you off. That you could have that perfect conversation, that perfect communication to your client, because you got to realize they are the main character of their story. You are a side quest. And yes, now they could flag your quest, and then now they're armed with this super rad piece of armor, this skill, whatever it is, that going back on their main quest line, they're going to be able to 10x what they're doing. However, they need to be able to see the value and understand what's in it for them and how much better they're going to be after going on the side quest with you back on their main storyline. Absolutely. I'm a bit of a nerd, so like that's just been it's been a way I've been explaining it to my clients, so they've gotten a big kick out of it. And that onboarding piece, I gotta tell you, like, it is transformational because your clients will have so much more belief in your capability of delivering the results that you're saying that you can, and not just that you can deliver the results, that they can do it. Right? Because there's always that self-doubt, that stuff that everybody's got to work through, right? So knowing that, okay, great, I've done this step, click the button, I've done this step. Because I see so many people that'll take like a 90-minute Zoom like live training and put that in a course module and be like, here's your course, guys. I'm like, no one's gonna watch that. When's the last time, as an entrepreneur, when is the last time you watched a 60-minute replay?
Right.
And if you did, it was on 3x and you were only somewhat paying attention. Right. And so like, even when we load in, like if we want to give someone like a replay, we'll timestamp it out and be like, this is what was covered. This is what was covered. And then we'll do like helper, as my partner calls it, helper videos. I'm like, no, okay. Super cute. She calls them helper videos. That's the actual course. right? Like, it needs to
Right.
be short and simple. Like, what is it you want them to do? Okay, great. Talk about that one thing, give them their action, and that's it. Because
Right.
if it's more than that, then that needs to be a little bit separate, or it needs to be presented that way, because they need to take action with what they're learning, or it's just not going to really retain. Because there's so many coaches out there that, like, they even check the stats. Their clients show for the live calls, and then like half the people don't even touch the course because they're just so accustomed to these like hour-long videos. And if they're not in the course, then that's where the automations come in, right? We want to remind them, like, hey, we're doing this thing. Aren't you ready to get in on the course? And with automations, you can have automated assessments, you can have automated certificates, right? And it's that dopamine, it's that micro wins that, oh, look, I got the answer right. Oh, look, I got a certificate. You know, they're going to put that up on their wall. They're going to be so pumped, and it's going to build that confidence. And that's going to make them not just be so excited and have great testimonials, they can turn around and affiliate your offer because they're really, they have belief.
Right.
Because it's not just you, it's you and your systems.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, Colleen, when, we've been sort of talking through these systems, talking through all of these pieces and parts of, what it is that we could be doing better to make our businesses more profitable, which I think is fantastic. But let's really dig into Nerdly. And, you said you started it, 3-4 years ago, and certainly there was a path to get there. But once you got there, what would you say has been like the biggest success of having your business? Like, what's the best part of having Nerdly?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I think like knowing my value, knowing my, like the level I'm playing at, because I had no idea. I was basically running an agency before this, and I just had no idea. I thought I was just helping people out. Right. I was like, all right, I got us a great deal on this software, and yeah, I can run trainings on this, and yeah, hey, this is how you do it. Let me load it into your account. And and seeing my team develop and grow, and seeing my clients. I mean, we had clients who, when they first started, were in tears. Like, when we definitely had like therapy open office sessions, because people were like, this is so different. This is hard. I don't know what I'm doing. And now I have to talk to people on the internet. I can't just go run into people. I can't go to like a networking event and just meet people. So it was a huge paradigm shift for a lot of people. And I really love to see that I get to help guide all these different businesses into success, because that's where I got into this health and wellness and network marketing, because I wanted to help people make an impact. Right. And I love that I get to help these really like passionate people make an impact. I mean, even our football coach guy, right? Like he helps these high schoolers train and get ready to go and perform better in college football, right? Like, we've got everything from dog trainers to personal coaches and health coaches, and knowing that they are out there making a difference in people's lives and trying to just, there's only so much that we can individually control. And knowing that what I'm doing is making a positive impact is absolutely phenomenal. And the fact that I can, rock that digital nomad life doesn't hurt.
You know what? There's a lot to be said from being able to work from anywhere.
I'm seeing some of these countries and some of the cost of living. I'm like, yes, Spain, France, you guys sound real good. I'll be right back.
It's so true. It's so true. I'll be joining along on your coattails for that. So Colleen, when we start our businesses also, we have, I don't want to say the doe-eyed approach, but it's like you have this idea of like how things are going to work. And then when you get into it, you realize that like sometimes there are things that come with it that were just like unexpected, right? Like the piece that came as a surprise. What do you think has been the biggest surprise about you having Nerdly?
Like, Well, I mean, I didn't realize just how smart I was. Like I straight up definitely lived most of my life thinking that I was generally the dumb one of the dumber people in the room.
Oh my
So
God.
that was been really cool. And I think it's also been a surprise that there's these amazing people out there that have these transformational things they can help people with. And getting them to be able to get out of their head and figure out how to communicate that to someone else that is not on their level, right? Like it's been so interesting because everyone always tells me, Colleen, you got to break it down, right? And so that's what I've been really good about is making the scary big tech into small bits and to turn around and help others do the same for what they're doing. And
Mhm.
it's just been such an adventure in human communications. Like
Mhm.
human words are weird. Like I mean, I tell you, it's and also like my business partners, my sister-in-law, right? Like initially she was my VA and now she's running all sorts of stuff on the back end. So like seeing the transformation that being around tech can do for people. Like she's a mom of 5 and she gets to stay at home and hang out with her, like be there for her kids, and she gets to run this business. Like just really helping people see, like, because one of the biggest things, like when I was in corporate tech, like
Mhm.
there was definitely, I was like, I'm living in a cage. Like that's all this is. Like I have to be here for hours for no reason. Like my last IT job, I was literally done with my work by noon and I had to just look busy because I had to sit in an office. So,
Right.
especially this day and age, like, there's teenage millionaires now. It's just teaching people, hey, if you have an idea that
Mhm.
you think could be powerful, like, let's
Mhm.
get it. Let's go.
Right.
Like, there's no reason that you can't do it. Right. We have a
Right.
whole team of people to support you. We have an amazing community. And there's tons of different solutions out there like this. But like it's just go for it. Believe in
Yeah.
yourself, take that step. And especially like organic social media, like it's so easy to find prospects these days, right? It's
It
literally just
is.
be yourself on the internet and share with people, right?
Yeah, there's so many nuggets in there, and Colleen, I do wanna get into specifically what it is that Nerdly provides, but really quickly first, before we sort of leave this part of the business side of Nerdly, what do you think has been the hardest part about having your own business?
um I'm the boss. That's the hardest part. I'm in charge of myself. um Yeah, no, it's hard to put it down. Like it's hard to put down the work when the people that you're supporting. And honestly, I find it's like playing a video game. Like I used to play video games all the time, and then I was like, well, do I want fake gold or do I want to go over here and create more video games that make me money?
Right,
And also just like whenever there's an issue, just knowing that like it's not the end of the world. Right,
right.
like, there was an email hiccup last week, and I very proud of myself, I did not have a panic, and I was like, approaching problems with curiosity,
Mm,
and I think especially as an entrepreneur, the faster you can switch seeing problems as a problem into a curious question, that
mm,
is a game changer for you because you do not need to be put in the fight or flight mode all the time, right? And 90% of these problems, even if a customer shares it in an emotional state, they message back 10 minutes later, yo, it's actually not that big of a deal. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, and shifting from being a solo entrepreneur to running a team, that is a challenge, right? Being able to fully communicate and delegate tasks out, being able to give feedback and like mentor, coach, and help people like grow where they're at is what, like, while it's akin to what I was doing, it is a very different ball game when you're actually paying people. It is not like you're helping them grow their own business. No, no, you're in charge and they're doing the thing that you paid and asked them to do.
right. Yeah, gosh, so many things in there. It's true. A lot of the things that we talk about when you have your own business, right, is related to funding, it's related to leadership, it's related to the change of like knowing that somebody else sets your tasks and then all of a sudden you have to decide how to set
Yeah.
those tasks. It's the marketing piece, right? It's the sales piece, it's the tech piece. I feel like we've covered like nearly every single one of those today. And so, Colleen, I want to make sure that we do not end this time together without you specifically talking about the services that Nerdly provides, because we've used some acronyms today, like SaaS and things like that maybe not all of our listeners know what that is. So would you mind sort of just walking
Yeah.
through specifically?
So Nerdly, you can check us out at nerdly.io. We provide SaaS, which is software as a service, and we combine a number of different tools together to curate the user experience. Because I've been on so many platforms and I've seen them all like kind of just fall flat on their face. Like you go into Cartron, you got to go to like 12 different pages to build a funnel. Like
Right.
it just doesn't make sense. It's very counterintuitive. So we provide software, we provide coaching, consulting. We have an agency incubator program, also known as our brand partner program, so that if you're a coach and you want to provide this kind of thing to your clients, and don't want to deal with all the back end, and you don't want to have to be the one who stays on top of the tech trends, you don't want to have to be the one who handles all the support tickets and the day-to-day operations, and you want to stay in your zone of genius of inspiring your clients, whether it's in whatever piece that you do. And we have courses. So we launched our we have our ultimate systems and automation setup course. We rolled out our funnel mastery, which we've now changed to acquire through automations, because a funnel mastery did not explain what exactly it is, because there's so much confusion around what a funnel is.
Yeah,
Our next one is our automated onboarding advantage. And then I don't remember the names of the next two, but it's going to be a course, like how to build an engaging course that makes people want to finish it. And it's then affiliating. It's our affiliate course, which is both how do you create and launch an affiliate program, and then how do you create a affiliate collaborative offers, because it totally harkens back to when I was saying like we don't need to be the source of everything. There are so many amazing people out there that deliver solid offers that there's no reason, like, why would you replicate that?
Right.
Because now you have to market it, you have to sell it, you have to deliver it, you have to support it. Whereas you could just go affiliate someone's offer. Like if they're upstream or downstream of you, you're still maintaining that client relationship. Now you're increasing the lifetime client value. And all you did was sell them a thing, and then you don't have to do anything else. So there's a lot of people that are missing out on that piece. And even entrepreneurs who are just honestly tired.
Right.
Like I had a conversation with two of my clients. They're like, honestly, I'm just tired. I don't know that I really want to keep coaching. And I've got this huge audience, and then, they're engaging. And, so I was like, well, let's look at just adding on an affiliate offer. Like what are the different directions they could go from where they're at with you? Well, let's find an affiliate program that goes with each of them. So it's your one-stop shop, right? Like we even help people, like they didn't have an EIN. So we'll help them get that set up, build their accounts, Google Workspaces. I mean, if you want to run a business that leverages the internet or a computer, just come hit us up. And we're happy to work with you. We've got VAs, we've got our Nerd Herd, which is our fancy, smart customer success team. And we just have a community of folks who really are there for each other.
Yeah. And Colleen, it's you sort of like glossed over this, but I'm just going to sort of emphasize this point, which is women who own businesses are very good at doing everything because we're used to doing everything. And I think that hopefully what people are learning as they sort of listen to all these different, episodes of the Spark Starter podcast is the fact that they're learning that there are plenty of people and partners out there that can help to fill the gaps of the things that you A, don't know enough about, or B, don't have a passion for. And I think that the more that women can understand that they can leverage other people and resources that are out there, the faster and bigger they are going to be able to build their business. And so certainly Nerdly can help provide a lot of those services.
100%. It blew my mind paying people. You wouldn't think it would. It blew my mind that, wait, but I wouldn't do it for that much money. Why would you? And so it was this whole paradigm shift for my own self that, like, well, I mean, I like you. Why would I pay you that little to do the thing? Oh, it's because that thing isn't a high value job, right?
Right.
And, especially as you start to hire people, right? Knowing that each of those jobs have KPIs, like key performance indicators, that you can tie their jobs with revenue. Because tell you what, didn't do that for about 1.5 years of hiring people, and the bleeding was rough.
Right.
And it's totally doable. And guess what? People can get stuff done in such a short amount of time. And most people that are doing like VA type jobs, they're working for a number of people. You are not their sole source of income. You do not need to hold yourself responsible for the livelihood of one of your staff members who only works for you like 5 hours a week. Like they're not living off of that. So like, get out of your head about it. At least for me, that's where I got stuck in my head for a bit. Cause I was like, oh, I gotta pay them more so they're okay. Right? No.
Yeah, there's I feel like we need to do another session just talking about that piece, the staffing piece, right? Because there's sort of like 3 things that I feel like you touched on there that are really important, right? One is like knowing that people are going to establish sort of their own value, and especially as you look at hiring people from different countries, there is obviously a different value in those countries, and there are times when you do need to actually understand the value of like the US dollar as it stands with other countries that you work with, because you also can actually cause more damage by trying to pay beyond sort of what that normal price point is, because we all know that we live to whatever the value is that we have. I think the next thing is the fact that, you don't have to hire people full time. You can hire them for just the amount of time that you need them. And then the third thing is just figuring out how you set up your systems for how you're going to onboard those people and what sort of metrics you're going to use to measure against, what they're doing, and also making sure that, you sort of have accountability metrics there, and don't hold on to people longer than you need to if they're not performing. So that would be, I think, the synopsis of sort of the piece that we just went through.
And if you need to, practice with a buddy, right? Like the people, as hard as it can be, especially if you're not used to giving feedback, they want it and need it because they want to be the best version of themselves too. And if you're not giving them feedback, then how are you expecting them to be successful at their job?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
And also,
great point.
Give yourself some love because, putting your oxygen mask on first, especially as the entrepreneur, is so hard. And it's so easy to just push. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I haven't eaten today and I'm going to go collapse. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, Colleen, the putting your own oxygen mask on first, that is brilliant. And so, Colleen, just as a reminder, how do people get in touch with you? So they heard what you're talking about. They definitely see that they'd like to use or at least learn more about Nerdly. Where is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
So they can go to nerdly.io and either grab a trial or book a call. They can call us. We have a fun marketing number, 9898-NERDLY. I totally so excited about that phone number. You can call or text us, or we have a Facebook group called Nerdly Making Tech Simple. And, we go live training there every single week. And it's been a lot of fun, just, because we have everyone from like business owners to agencies to just the gamut of people. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then the last question that I always ask every single guest is, what is one word or a short phrase that you would give as inspiration to any woman looking to start or grow their business?
So you're gonna laugh. So the motto I told my team this year is money, please, because get paid every single time, and don't wait and be like, oh yeah, you can pay me later. No. Payment upon service before services are rendered, because I have seen just. I've had even some of my top tier friends are like, this person owes me $10,000.
Yeah.
Like, and there is no reason that you should be doing work that you do not get compensated for.
Yeah. Money, please. I love it, because that is so true. And as women, we're such givers. We sometimes have a hard time collecting money. And I think one other red thread that I want to make sure I just sort of emphasize as we close out today is the fact that that you have value, and you should know what that value is.
Yes.
And so
thank
Colleen,
you. That is where I was going with the money, please. It's because you have an amazing value. Your knowledge, yourself, what you can do, all of that has value, right? Just someone talking to you, they're getting value. And I speak from personal experience of giving my value away, and it can be a challenge to overcome after you've been in there for a minute. It can hurt your mindset, and it can, delay your business growth. Just know that you're awesome, right? Like, you are awesome in your zone of genius, and own it.
Yes. Thank you so much, Colleen. There's so many great nuggets for any business owner, really, and especially for our female business owners in here today. Thank you so much for being my guest. And thank you so much to all of our listeners who have joined us today on the SPARK StartHer Podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you the uniquely inspiring stories that ignite female entrepreneurs into action. I've been your host, Elizabeth Goede, and on behalf of all the awe-inspiring women entrepreneurs out there, I encourage you to not only dream big, but to ignite those dreams into action. Remember, every spark can lead to an extraordinary fire. So keep the spark alive for today, tomorrow, and the vibrant future beyond. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to never miss a spark. Until next time, stay ignited.